Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Scepter Lab, and I'm your boy Freezius, coming up here with a new video today. And today I'm just going to kind of chill out a little bit. I just want to talk a little bit about some of my personal predictions for what's going to happen with the game in the next, over the course of this year, through the rest of 2022. And really, and I want to start off with the caveat right away that with me being a playtester, I'm not going to get up here and release any inside secrets. Honestly, I don't really have any secrets to share like that. But I do want to talk about what my predictions are. And it's just a little bit of a fun thing. See how much comes true, see how much is false. We'll see how it goes over the course of the recording. But before I get into that, two things I want to do. I want to start off with some shout outs. And so, let me take a look at what I got this week in regards to shout outs. So the first one I got, and going through my notes here, so I got a couple of new subscribers. Arlang010 is a new subscriber to the YouTube channel, in addition to Casey Gibson. So those are some of my real life homeboys that, they're saying, hey man, you got a pretty good channel. I always look for feedback from folks, especially folks who, there's some folks up there who don't necessarily play the game, but they know social media real well. So I had some of my friends come take a look, and so I was happy to have them aboard to just kind of give me some things to work on. So taking that all in stride and trying to make the best program I possibly can. So a lot of good feedback that I get. So I actually did pretty well with subscribers this go around. Since the last video, I want to say I got about 6 or 7 new subscribers, or overall. Well, no, over the last week, because I gave some shout outs last time as well. But then I've been getting a lot of personal messages from just different players. I got a personal message from Smoley the other day, gave me a lot of good feedback. So shout out to Smoley. And a lot of times I like that when I go do those ratings that I put, particularly people when I go do these ratings on combat bots, that's typically when I get a lot of feedback. It's like, I can't believe you rated this bot that way. I mean, that's the way that I use them. Obviously, I always tell you guys that depending on play styles and depending on what bots you have to your disposal, then that usually drives a lot of that stuff. So I never really get upset about anybody questioning ratings or anything like that. If anything, and I was talking to some folks the other day about my YouTube channel, and basically the best way I can put it is you guys are actually the ones that make this channel successful. You guys are the ones that really make the content, because I'm always constantly asking, what are your opinions, asking for your feedback, and I'll run it as soon as you got ideas and it seems like there's some consensus about running those ideas. I'll run it. I'll run that con highlight of the week for those cons that you're saying that you want more information about. I'll run a particular topic if you guys ask. So shout out to all of you guys really for that part. In addition to that, so a couple more shout outs. So I had another buddy, Soundwave, aka Beastie Shane. He was giving me some information, and it was kind of inadvertent, but he gave me some information that would be really, really useful for a future con highlight video. I'm not going to say which bot it was, because I don't want to ruin the surprise. But yeah, that was really good information, and it led to a really good discussion about that particular bot. So look for that one in the future. Let's see who else. I wanted to give a shout out to Sentinel, who so we were former teammates, and he's been one of the guys that's really saying he's really been trying to promote my content, just trying to get people to just say, hey man, Freeze got a video about this topic, or and trying to push people in that direction. So I really appreciate that. And I want to give a shout out also to Walt Millsy. So on my last video, one of the things that I started to talk about is that I was going to be making a guest appearance on one of the other content creators shows, and so I'm in the preparatory stage of doing a guest appearance on Walt Mills's YouTube stream. I think we're gonna try to do it this week, but I said we still got some collaboration to do on it. But when that information does drop, I will put links on my YouTube channel and my Discord, just so everybody knows where to find them, and just so we can try to, like I was saying before, in terms of sharing throughout the community and getting some of the newer content creators like myself some recognition. I think we started about roughly around the same time, and honestly, I'm happy to help. So I'm looking forward to that a lot, because when I look at a lot of these content creators, a lot of guys either have a sidekick or they have somebody that they partner with on a regular basis, and so I'm very much interested in trying to get more exposure for my channel, more exposure for some of the newer content creators channels, and trying to do some collaborations. So really looking forward to that in that regard. I'll drop the link on my YouTube channel in the comments as we figure more out about that. So other than that, before I get to my predictions, I also want to go to the newsletter for this week, and let's go ahead and get started. So we are in week 4 of our 5-week saga, and a lot of the talk has been about the leaderboard, and rightfully so. I mean, leaderboards are pretty big events, and particularly for those that like to go in there and spend and anything like that and try to go get top prizes. So yeah, right now we're in week 4. Leaderboards the next week, but this week we get the individual event, and we actually got a pretty good individual event. I feel like 5,000 prime core shards and the name of the event is same but different. But like I said, the prizes they're putting out: 5,000 prime core shards, 60,000 total shard crystals, each containing a chance to drop 25 5-star shards. So you got 25% shot at those, or 100 4-star shards, 200 3-star shards, or 1,000 premium shards. So 25% chances at each one of those. 20 million alloy, 20 million energon, 30,000 spark. So for an individual event, this is a pretty good event, man. Like, honestly, I'm excited about it. I plan on completing this one. It's not too long, it's not too short. 20 prestige, and when you go look at the charts, you can see that each prestige you're talking about 1,000 points. So it looks like a 20k event if it stays like that. You know how that goes in terms of events changing in the last second. But as it stands right now, this is what we're looking at: 20,000 points for the individual, and 25% chances at each one of those different types of shards crystals. I plan on completing it. And it's gonna be a relaxing weekend. I ain't got nothing really planned this weekend, but even if I do decide to go do something, 20,000 points is very reasonable for a lot of players if you want to take the time to do it. So I plan on doing it. Game updates. So it was a little bit of a delay, but the Titan and Combiner catch-up bundles, those bundles have since been released. Yeah, so I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. And then the big one right here, so the upcoming characters, we got Shattered Glass Jetfire, Shattered Glass Thundercracker, gonna be unlockable at the end of the saga, at that event during the LB. And as we already talked about briefly, the LB is gonna have top 5 is gonna get a 5-star version of the bot for their faction, and so you can already see some of the artwork they have for Jetfire, Shattered Glass, Jetfire, Shattered Glass, Thundercracker. It now has come out to the next 5 after that in the LB. Number 6 through number 10 are going to get a 4-star version of Shattered Glass, Jetfire, and Shattered Glass, Thundercracker. So a little bit to be looking forward to. I told you guys last week, and I told you last video, excuse me, I told you that I was going to plan on either recording on Wednesday or Thursday. Obviously, it's Thursday now, so I've been trying to get as much leaderboard information as I could to pass on to you guys. Really, I didn't get that much additional information. The only thing that I've really heard is, so Space Ape, I was working with them this morning, and Space Ape is in the process of building those charts. The charts are already built. They've been trying to get more feedback from the community, so they've been trying to get feedback from playtesters and feedback from other members of the community in regards to how they want to proceed with the prizes. Because one of the big arguments that we have is, hey man, LB events, they're not good unless you're a whale, unless you're a big spending player. Then the leaderboard events aren't good, and they're trying to make an honest, genuine effort. And I say I work with them every day in the playtester community. They're making a serious effort to try to make these things better, and that's one of the things we'll probably talk about a little bit later on. Community corner. So as always, we got some fantastic artwork on the community corner, and then because it's leaderboard event, different groups are starting to put their posters out here for their LB squad. So Fort Cybertron happens to be one that's got one this go around. I'm sure more will come in the upcoming newsletter as people have spots to fill. If you are a Decepticon, I got a couple of resources that I typically use. So if you're looking for a spot and you're trying to look for like a top 5 spot, shoot me a PM, man. Like I got some resources that I might be able to put out there for you. Yeah, so primarily through Discord, that'll probably be the way. And when you go to my outro for the video, that's got my Discord information, Freezius Max number 4009. But yeah, so let me know. And then content creators, so Sunstreak Awaza had another video out there, and if you haven't been watching, he's got a series about each different class of bot. And so the other day he did one, him and Texas Titan or doing Gunner class bots. So pretty good video for a lot of Yukon players. He actually started adding some images of the Decepticon players up there as well, so it's not as difficult to translate. I did catch a conversation he was having when somebody kind of requested that, and he didn't take the whole suggestion because I feel like the suggestion might have been a little bit of a stretch, but he did add that part to it. So take a look at that video, man. It's a pretty good video. I enjoyed it, and yeah, and I'm enjoying that entire series from him. Saga schedule, we already said week 4 or 5. We already know that next week is the big leaderboard event. And Space Ape has put a lot of hype into this one because they said it's going to be the best one ever. So we'll see how it turns out. We've been giving feedback, trying to get, some of the other prizes to be good. So that's what we're looking at. Bug fixes and improvements. So we have Nanofrost not allowed to use that on the HQ anymore. I don't like that. That kind of sucks, but alright. And they had several changes to the Titan, lowering the point requirement for the attack perks from the Titan tree from tier 7 upwards. They had to go tweak standstill a little bit, and they had to tweak the Titan increase speed a little bit so it matches the requirements of the other perks in the same tier. For Cyber Pass, they had one seasonal quest that read win 10 hard PvP battles, but it can only be completed when not using the combiner, so they've updated the description of that quest. And for Bumblebee, they fixed the issue with Bumblebee being stuck at level 62. So in addition to that, so next Thursday the 10th, the day before the LB, is going to be Space Ape's Twitch stream. And that is all I have for the newsletter. So let's go ahead, go back to the lab, and let's start talking about some of these predictions. Alright, so that said, so it's really 5 things that I'm really looking at so far. That I'm looking at predicting, and honestly a lot of these things are things that basically I'm going to go give evidence. I don't usually talk about anything unless there's some evidence that suggested that there's like some kind of pattern or there's something that makes me think a certain way on a particular topic. And so I'm just going to go through these 5 different predictions real quick. And so the first one that I have is that I think throughout the rest of the year that bots are gonna get better. I think events are also gonna get better. And so my number 5 on my prediction list is gonna be that bots and events get better. And here's the reason why I think this. So I'm looking at, we just went through the newsletter. You look at the individual event, and I think there's been a little bit more emphasis on making sure that these events are more geared to what players actually want. And so one of the things that I was really heavily advocating for is Dale had came up with an idea a while ago that they wanted to, Space Ape wanted to make an alliance council. And you guys probably saw, if you guys are on the Transformers Earth Wars Discord, you probably saw the applications go out. I guess they're still reviewing some applications, but they did take the players that they had, because it's probably been about a month, and they took the alliances that they have, and they just broke everything down into, hey, what war league do you primarily play in, and can you give us some feedback about some of the things that you're dealing with in your wars. And so they got one for Prime League, they got one for Cybertron League, and they got one for Caminus and below. And so there's been a lot of good conversation in there with just different alliance family leaders and stuff like that going in there and giving their feedback, and it's been really productive so far. I was a huge advocate for it, because I feel like if you're trying to address any kind of player engagement issues, then you got to actually talk to the players, and it gets, it does get a little diluted when you've got a bunch of people like on the main Discord channels, like in the lounge or even in VIP. If you get a bunch of people just kind of just complaining, and they're all just rambling on in that one area, then it becomes difficult. So I think it's a little easier to get some of the leads from the alliance families in and have them speak on the behalf of what their players are feeling, so that Space Ape can get some of that feedback. And there's also an event channel up there. I mentioned the war rooms that they have in there, but they also got an event one, and honestly that was the first one Space Ape went into. Is they went into this event room and started asking how they could make events better. And so one of the things that started to come up is kind of like this weekend's event. 20k is reasonable. Maybe a little arduous for some of the lower levels, but 20k is indeed reasonable. And so because of that, I think there's going to be a formula that they try to start using, at least even if it's like temporarily, where there's going to be maybe one event that's going to be somewhere between the neighborhood of 750k to 1 mil PE. And then there's going to be, obviously, the Saga event is usually 1 mil PE or more. So that's going to be those two events, 2 individual events, and then 1 smaller event. It seems like that might be the formula, and that might be the way that it's going. But nothing set in stone yet. But that is what a lot of the commanders are asking for in that regard. Let's see. I feel like the bots are getting better, and so it's a couple of reasons for that. So, as you've heard me say a couple of times on my YouTube channel, the Space Apes they're starting to give some of the playtesters a little bit more freedom, and to trying to design different bots. The last combat bot that we had, I'm talking before Shattered Glass Thundercracker, the last combat bot when we had SG Ravage, and the last bot before that when we had SG Shockwave. They asked the playtester community, it's like, hey man, what do you think will make a good bot? And particularly because they asked the playtester community, because there's a lot of experienced players in there, and one of the things that we want to look for is the bot's longevity. Like, we don't want to make a bot and you get them and it's cool for a second, but then you get them leveled up and you're like, man, this bot's not very good, and then you wind up shelving them. You want to make bots that are actually good and going to be used through the duration of the time that you play the game. And so because you're getting that feedback, for the longest time, when it's like, all right, well, we're going to develop a bot, and you can play test it. We might be tweaking the bot. Now you're getting, like, in Texas Hammer, aka Texas Titan, he's got a chance to go in there and make some good ideas for the last two bots, the last bot and last combat bot, and most of us agreed with it. And he's like, then he came out with some pretty good bots, and SG Shockwave and SG Ravage. So those are the kind of things that I think that's why I think that bots and events will get better. Along with that, though, I do think that there's a reason why bots are getting better. And I think that reason is that HQ18 is going to be absolutely brutal. And I'm just going to be honest with you. I think there's going to be some new weapons now. When they made a HQ 17.5, one of the things that happened when they made a HQ 17.5 is that's when we got, Spider-Mans, that's when we got MDS. And those have become a point of emphasis for the game, particularly the MDS, because it's variable. You notice that the war effects are starting to turn more MDS related. We started getting power cores for the build bots. That's made a big impact on the game, and the reason for that is because players in the higher leagues want more of a challenge, and rightfully so, because when you have bots that are at these high levels, it's expected to, we want to have some level of difficulty where everybody's not just doing 300 every single war. So I think that from that aspect, HQ18 truly is going to be for the elite overall, for them to have something more powerful so they can have more challenge in their wars without changing the entire dynamic of the entire game as a whole. So I'm actually looking forward to it. I do say this now because one of the things that I think is that the catch-up mechanics for the full Transformers Earth Wars, they can be difficult at times, right? I think that one of the things that we're going to be looking at is start getting more opportunities for big prizes. So you notice the events are getting better. You notice that Dale made an announcement, I think it was last week, that they're gonna start alternating 5-star shard events and 5-star combat shard events. And the reason for that is I think they want you to get as many 5-star bots as you can, so that if you are playing in these Cybertron leagues, you're playing in these Prime leagues, wars, then you can have the bots to support you. And then when HQ18 comes and you've been spending all year with building these 5-star bots and 5-star combat bots, you're more prepared than you would have been if you weren't completing all of those things. So that's kind of my Cliff's Notes version of my observations. When they start giving you 5-star pieces and they start giving you them frequently like that, I feel like it's for a purpose. And I feel like that purpose right now is because HQ18 is going to be tough. And so if you're on the bubble, if you're one of those fringe players, it's like, hey man, like myself, I play primarily in Cybertron. I typically play pretty well in Cybertron. Prime League is a little bit more of a challenge, but I say, there are times when I've been able to win through all the bases, but it took some work. It took dropping some points in the Prime League in order for me to even make it to the Commander base and win. So for me, getting the 5 stars might be that missing piece that I need to move on to that next level and just get out there and have a team that I truly can compete with overall, as I get more 5 stars to replace some of the 4 stars that I have on my team, so on and so forth. So yeah, that's what I think. So that's my first really big predictions. I think the bots, the events, and the wars. I think the wars will get more difficult, but I think the game as a whole gets better over the course of the year. All right, so let's see what else I got on the list. So I do think that my second prediction that I want to make is in regards to catch up, and so I'll lead off with this. Last year, I felt like was the ultimate catch-up mechanic year in 2021. I said there were so many different things that just happened over the course of the year that just made it a little bit easier to catch up. Like I look at even like the medals rewards. Like the medals got easier and then you started getting more prizes. You started finding more opportunities to get power cores. You started finding more opportunities to get all of these things that made your teams better over the course of 2021. So in 2022, it's like, all right, man, I think everybody's caught up somewhat, but I think they're starting to offer more catch-up mechanics because people, let's be honest, man, the addition of the Titan was a huge deal, and I think the addition of the Titan, they are people that quit the game over the addition of the Titan. It's like, hey, I missed that weekend, and now I can't play with my buddies in my alliance anymore. And it's like, well, what do? I can't compete without him. And one of the things I've been encouraging people to do is, like, if you're in a family, man, maybe it's one of those times it's drop down temporarily, but I do feel like, and I've been personally putting some pressure on Space Ape when I'm talking in playtester chats. I've been trying to put a little bit of pressure on them about, like, hey, man, you got to release these things in a kind of a timely manner, some details, so there's some light at the end of the tunnel for players. Because, you know, we just now found out this week that what the currency is going to be for the 4-star Titan. And the 4-star Titan, you know, it's going to take 4-star shards. We don't know how many. And so I predict, let me look at my notes, because I think it's going to be somewhere between 30 and 40,000 personally. But nothing's been said to me yet, and I want to make that perfectly clear. Nobody has told me it's going to cost that much. But I can see it being somewhere between 30 and 40,000 4-star shards, just because it is a game-changing piece. And then when you first get it, you can go and do the Titan catch-up piece. One of the things that I'd also predict is that for that particular section for the Titans, is in regards to the Titans, I feel like I'll start off with this. I based my prediction off of the fact that it took 20k 3-star shards for a 3-star Titan. So the way I was looking at it is 3-star shards, 3-star Titan, 4-star shards, 4-star Titan, 5-star shards, 5-star Titan. And so I think somewhere by the time you try to go get that 5-star Titan, and we don't know when that event is going to be yet, but I think that 5-star Titan might wind up being somewhere around 35 to 40,000 shards, a 5-star shards. I think it's going to be high, man. I don't think it's going to be something that we're going to get easily. But I also think that the 4-star Titan, the catch-up mechanic, I think we should. So here's what I think. Originally, my original prediction was that the 5-star Titan event will be the end of saga event for the next saga. That was my prediction. No one told me that. My prediction was that is because a few weeks ago, I think it might have been on regular Discord, Transformers Earth Wars Discord, Dale was saying, yeah, we're going to release that information, the currency, when it's about a month and a half to 2 months out from the date that we plan to release the 5-star Titan, right? All right, so they just released that information. Hey, it's going to be 4-star shards. It's going to be the currency. They did that on their last stream last week for Space Ape. So that said, I think that they're going to probably shoot for end of saga, next saga, or early the saga after next. And the reason why I say it might be early the saga after next is because there was already some talk on the Alliance Council about potentially doing another bot event for the next end of saga. Now, none of that's set in stone yet, and honestly, it was just a conversation. It was just a question that Dale was asking to the people of that event council community. But it does kind of make me think that, okay, well, maybe it's not going to be the end of saga event, but it's either going to be there, or I think it'll be like 2 weeks after that for that 5-star Titan event. But that said, if you notice the pattern, typically when Space Ape gets done with when players get done with a certain level, let me change my lighting a little bit. But typically when players get done with something, so like in this case, a lot of Titans are at level 13 right now. Some are at level 12. You know, I'm at level 12. I fell just short because, like I said before, that first week I didn't get all of my Titan XP that first week. So I'm a little tiny bit behind, but most players starting Sunday were up at Titan level 13, right? So because of that, that means probably somewhere in the next couple of weeks to a month, I think, is when players will start getting their Titans maxed out. So it might carry over into the following saga before they go get a 5-star Titan, because typically once players have all caught up on one Titan, that's when they will go and do, or not even just with the Titans, like you can just look at it with certain things. You can look at it with when they were doing Overlord, right? Yeah, it's like, all right, well, we had a big event, and when you go into these big events, one of the things is what you're buying is the opportunity to get this bot early. Like, yeah, there's a bot event, but what you're really buying is an opportunity to get the bot early as opposed to later. And then everybody else struggles for a little while because it's like, oh man, you've got this new combiner or you've got this new Titan, and then later on there's a catch-up mechanic for it. One thing that I would like Space Ape to do, and one thing I've been advocating for them to do, is to release the currency early, and then later on you can tell them when it's closer to the time how many of them you're gonna need, so that way the catch-up takes less time. But there's been some hot and cold reactions to that, so we'll see how it goes. But I do think that 5-star Titan event is coming pretty soon, because everybody's going to be maxing out their 4-star Titan very soon. So then there's that, and so we've seen those examples, like I said, with Overlord, and we've seen it with other pieces. So as soon as it's done, when everybody has had the time to max out, that's when they're gonna go with the next big thing, I feel like. All right, let's see. The next prediction I have is that I feel that players are gonna be disappointed with upcoming versions of Cyber Pass. And the reason why I feel that way is, if you hadn't watched my Cyber Pass Season 1 review video, go ahead and take a look at that, because there's a lot of insight as to why I feel this way in that particular video. But the biggest thing is that first season was a very, very good season, and there have been some feedback. A lot of people say, oh, well, it ended too early. No, you grinded the season out real hard, and so because you grinded that season out, there's gonna be other things that happen as a result of that. If you grinded it out quickly, then you just got the rest of the time to kick back and relax or work on other stuff. There's, with as many game modes as we have now, it's good to not have to grind on some of these things. Some of these things are things that we don't do on a normal basis. So I was glad that it was short. As people talk to Space Ape about it, they've pretty much said that, yeah, they ain't planning to keep that kind of format with the Cyber Pass. But one thing that does become difficult is making anything that's going to be as good as it was the first time. Space Ape went out there and said that very first time that, yeah, we plan on making this one really, really good. And I think that's going to irritate players when future seasons are not as good. But I tell you what I do. What I will do is I will get in there, because they typically show these things to the playtester first. So I will continue to advocate for good, player rewards for the Cyber Pass, and I will also make sure that I release a video when I know more about Season 2. Season 2 should be in work soon, and we should probably gonna start testing it soon, I would imagine. So that's one of those things that hopefully it's not gonna be too disappointing, but I need everybody to understand that it's not gonna be like it was that first time. There are gonna be some prizes, but it might not be, you might not have a bunch of 5-star shards and stuff in there in every single one, because 5-star shards going to be in the events and everything else. So it's not going to just send, like, everything's not just going to have 5-star shards attached to it. And just, just as an example. All right, let's see. So the other thing, so my fourth prediction is, and I think that I'm kind of backtracking on this one a little bit. I thought that LBs, the leaderboard events, might become a little bit more frequent. And I thought that they might become more frequent because now I think that people are going to request leaderboards. The whales are going to request more leaderboards because, now they got opportunities for 5-star bots when you go. I think that's going to become the norm, based off of just trying to give people what they want. The apes are really trying to give a lot of players what they want right now. And it doesn't always seem like it because of certain things they can't do. Just because of whether they're contractually obligated that way, or whether it's just something that, hey man, is flat out not in their best interest at the time. However, what I do think is that I think that players are going to want to go get these 5-star bots, and I think that at some point you will want to do more leaderboards as a result of that. Personally, I'd like to see leaderboards like maybe quarterly at most, because unless they get this one right, if they start getting them to where leaderboard prizes are good prizes, like, nobody wants to go into a 1 million point event and the prizes just aren't that good. I don't. And then the elite get even more elite by getting 5-star bots and by getting all these extra goodies and don't get me wrong, they earned that stuff by spending all that money and taking all that time to play those events. But what I don't want to happen is I don't want there to be so many of these events and they just got 5-star bot after 5-star bot after 5-star bot over the course of the year, and everybody else is kind of getting the scraps that are left behind. So I think the LBs will become more frequent. I don't know if it's going to be a 5-star one every time, but it'll be interesting to see what Space Ape says over the course of the upcoming weeks about it. And then my last prediction for today is that I believe that by the end of 2022 or maybe early 2023, I do believe that my YouTube channel is going to be one of those that I'll become an official content creator for Transformers Earth Wars. Obviously it's still a lot of work to do, but if you hadn't noticed the last couple like newsletters, or if you're in any of the chats that I'm in with Space Ape, I always try to take little shots in there and try to like self-promote, but like kind of like subconsciously self-promote. And at some point I expect a couple of things to happen. At some point I expect when they have some free time that they're actually going to take a look, because now they got multiple people that work on these projects, more developers, more community managers, all of these things. I expect at some point they're going to take a look, and I expect that sometime they're going to look at it and be like, hey man, this stuff that he's got is pretty good, and that he knows what he's talking about. So yeah, I think that's a real possibility for me. As long as I keep on making content, as long as I keep getting subscribers. So if you would like to see that, take some of my best videos, man, and share them with people. Or if you're having a conversation with some of your teammates and some of your alliances, and say, oh man, Freeze made a video about that, go ahead and put something in the comments, bro. Or put something in the comments here, and then share the videos in your comments in the and your line chats here. Discord's a little bit different. Make sure that that's within your rules to be in the Discord chats, because I know I was sharing my pages, my channels, a couple of places, and they was like, yeah man, you can't do that here, but then I started finding places who do allow that, and that's where I started getting more following from. So I'm really looking forward to having more subscribers, and honestly I look forward to just talking to you guys inside the Discord chat, because I feel like that's one of the more active ones where people just go in and converse outside of the actual Transformers Earth Wars Discord channels, but I feel like mine's is a cool place for people to come and talk and just have a lot of conversations about different topics, and I really enjoy it because I get a lot of good ideas from you guys, and I just enjoy talking to you guys on a regular basis. So there's that aspect also. But yeah, I do think that, and honestly, I think that it's more about, like, if you got subscribers, if I got a lot of subscribers and stuff like that, I think that they have to start taking a look at some point. Like, I already started, and I really study this stuff a lot, man. Like, if you understand, just to give you to the level of how much I study, trying to get better at YouTube and trying to get better as a content creator, one of the things that I noticed is that my channel is starting to move up. Like, if you do a search, Transformers Earth Wars, my channel is starting to move up the ranks a little bit. Like, obviously, like, guys like Sunstreaker, Waza, their stuff is always going to come up first. Skywarp Greer, his stuff's going to come up first. Arrow DJ Hart, their stuff is always going to come up first. But then, shortly after that, my stuff is coming up. And so, I was excited about that. What that means is, for all you guys that don't know a lot about YouTube, what that means is that I'm starting to break the algorithm that basically shows your videos in kind of like in positions where when you're in position to be a little bit more popular. I'm starting to break that algorithm, which is one of the things that I intentionally set out to do. Shortly after I started getting all my new equipment, like today I'm using the new microphone stand. If I'm having any sound quality issues, which I always check myself, but if it's anything sound quality wise, let me know how I sound down there in the comments, because I do got a new stand. I really like it because it comes closer to my mouth as opposed to being kind of down on the desk. So but yeah, so I'm always trying to find different ways to improve. So one of those things that I intentionally been trying to improve was cracking that algorithm, and it's starting. I'm not there yet when I've broken the algorithm completely open, but it started. So definitely looking forward to that. But that's all I want to talk about for today. I've been up here for about 40 minutes already, and honestly, man, like, I want to get more information about this leaderboard stuff. And I want to get more information, but I did find out that there is going to be, I don't know which content creator it's going to be yet, but there is going to be a content creator that's going to put out a video about the Shattered Glass Thundercracker. And so look forward to that, because once they get those content creators, they get that stuff into the content creators' hands, the official content creators, then that's when I'm authorized to go talk about it. And it kind of sucks a little bit, because I did, typically what I do is when Space Ape comes up there with a stream, I'll pre-record a stream, and as soon as Space Ape's stream goes off, then that's when I'll go in there and I'll release mine's, because then at that point I'm not releasing the content, I'm just kind of just doing the review on the content. But in this case, the official content creators going to get their stuff out there first. But trust and believe, I'll find a way to go in there and make sure that I'm in there shortly after that. So that's what I'm going to be looking at. So that'll probably be my con highlight for the week will be, and I might move it earlier. I might do it around the same time. I hadn't decided yet, but my next con highlight will probably be talking about this new bot, that Shattered Glass Thundercracker. So, but other than that, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off. If you haven't already subscribed to my Discord channel, Freezius Deceptor Lab, I am going to leave a link for that in the comments. All the rest of my social media links are going to be on the About section of my YouTube channel, my Discord, Facebook, Instagram. All of those things are going to be in the About section. I got links for each one of them. But other than that, I will see you guys later on, and I will see you on the battlefield. Freezius out.